Welcome to Family Business. I'm Dr. Mary Wansley, and this is my son Dylan.
Hi, I'm Dylan Stever.
Welcome to episode 8. You want to
As I've been told, is to not say, I can't believe we're still doing it. Do you want to do a deep breath?
Yeah, you lead.
No, it's your turn. We'll switch off every week. How about that?
You're up.
No, because I went last week.
Okay, I'll do
It's
it.
your turn.
All right.
And I've been waiting for this.
Oh, me too. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose, fill your chest and lungs, and hold the breath. Exhale through your mouth, release the breath, let it go. Pause. Inhale through your nose, fill your chest and lungs and abdomen, and hold. Long exhale through your mouth, release the breath, let it go. Pause. Inhale through your nose, fill your chest, your lungs, your abdomen. Take another sip. Long exhale through your mouth, release the breath, let it go.
I've been told that I make like a weird face while I'm doing my deep breaths. Like my eyes are still there's a little slit in them. It's exposed like the white part of my eye.
We see my eyes are closed,
So are mine.
so I don't see
So are
that.
mine. So yeah, so are mine.
I have a great topic for us.
What are we talking about?
I want to talk about something that I see with clients, and I'll be interested to hear what your feedback is.
Of course.
When parents are dealing with a child, or could be an adolescent, teenager, young adult, who has challenges, who's struggling with an addiction in a relationship, and what's important for parents to know and think about if they have a child who's struggling.
It's a very powerful topic. So let's start off with me. What are the tools and the things
Why
that you
not?
implemented when I was going through a tough time? I mean, one of my tough times. Well, we can start off. What was it like when I was playing an absurd amount of video games and I wasn't being responsive to life and I was failing my grades? What were you doing in order to deal with that, deal with the stress and the anxiety that went along with it, that your son um isn't falling in line how you kind of expect him to.
And what you're saying is the stress and anxiety, uh, that is what it felt like. It felt like a lot of stress. It felt like panic. It felt overwhelm, overwhelming, I should say. At times, it felt hopeless to get you to do things that I thought you should be doing, and you not listening. Oh, it was very, very
It was not
difficult.
responsive at all.
No, you were not responsive at all. For me, one of the things that I would say helped the most is I had good communication with your dad.
Yeah.
And the two of us could talk about whatever was going on with you. And for the most part, it wasn't about whether we agreed or not. Uh, we really only had each other, other than the many therapists we had along the way. But we would come up with different plans and think of the next thing we were going to do. But that. I would say if parents are on board with helping the child,
Right.
and
It's
not that
true
a
that both
parent,
parents have to be.
well, and because some parents, I can think of an example that a mom's on board with her daughter getting help, and the father's not really on board. Now, this is
Right.
pretty rare. Usually the parents are both on board, because I talk to a lot of parents
Right.
when I have someone who's young, or even a young adult or teenager, come to me. And I often speak with both parents, or sometimes both parents at the same time. You have to cut that out. I often speak with both parents, sometimes individually, sometimes together, and we talk about how their child, their son or daughter, is doing.
Right.
And sometimes the parents do things to make the problem worse.
How do parents make the problem worse?
Well, when it comes to the eating food and weight problem, if one of the parents has been critical, they've been critical trying to get their child to improve or do better or thinking that that's
Well,
the
to
right
listen
thing
to
to
them
do.
because they think they have an idea of how to help them, and they're doing from the best of their knowledge, and so the kid isn't responding, then it's like causes a internal conflict between them.
Well, it causes a conflict between them, but sometimes a parent can come away across in a way that's critical and judgmental and puts
Right.
more pressure on them, it's not helpful at all. In fact, it has the opposite effect. Now, this is
I I've I'm I can raise my hand and say that that is definitely the case with me.
okay.
When you're telling me to stop playing video games, what was I gonna do? Just keep playing video games to make myself feel better and to like drown out the people telling me not to do it. It's like you're thinking they don't know what they're talking about. This is right. I love this. And so I
So
think
that's
it's
what you're thinking is they don't know what.
they don't know what they're talking about. That's what you think. If you're a teenager and your parents are telling you, especially something that a decision that you're making that could be wasting time or it could be not productive for you, it could definitely be related. Yeah, I mean that's how you look at it is you don't know what you're talking about. You don't because they're not really looking into what's going on within the child in their life. And that's how it feels at least. Even though they are, but they don't really I think for you guys, it was like you guys don't really understand how I feel. You
And we
don't
probably
really
didn't.
understand
We
and
probably didn't.
the fact that you don't understand that I don't feel heard or validated is enough for me to think that now if they don't know how I feel, they don't care or we don't have a relationship where I can communicate how I feel, then what is the importance of and then they're going to tell me what else to do. Why would I listen to them now? Why would I like they're not taking an extra effort. It's hard being a parent because you're balancing so many things, but taking that extra effort, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Do and really feeling like your kid is comfortable with you to talk about things. That's my number one.
Did you ever feel comfortable with us, either of us?
No,
Both.
not at all. I don't know why. I just never felt comfortable talking about my emotions or my feelings and that I didn't feel like they were properly validated. And also, I realized a way that I was trying to, when I was young, I was trying to manipulate you using that, trying to make you feel bad. At least my dad tried to make him feel bad. Like when I switched schools in high school, or from middle school to high school, away from all my friends, I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm really depressed and I'm going to blame this on him and then I'll get to go back to my school because he'll feel bad because I feel bad. So it's like you can end up using those, using them against the person too. Even though no one can actually make you feel a certain way, but the way you're feeling, you can use it as a weapon. You can use it as a point of attack. Hey, I feel terrible and you're the one that's contributing to this.
So let me do whatever I want.
So, I mean, I would attribute partly the reason why I checked out so much and played so many video games and to that degree because I didn't have the life that I was living for 4 years, which is skiing every day. I didn't. I was away from all my friends. I was around people I didn't even really like or know, and all my core friends were all at a different school.
So would you say your video game started at the beginning of high school?
No, I was playing video games.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, obsessively, but way before that.
Okay.
Um,
What would you say to people who have fallen into the trap of playing video games?
it's not a trap, not anymore.
Why do
It
you
was a
say
trap.
it's
It's
not a
only a
trap?
trap if it doesn't produce anything. There are tons. If you can't build a life doing it, if you can't be a professional doing it, if you can't achieve some sort of accomplishment, a feeling of accomplishment, or also develop relationships, even though they're through computer or through a game system, those are certain things, those are certain aspects that can bring joy, that can bring, it depends when you become a complete time waste. If you're mindlessly playing video games with no intent, it becomes attention too. When you're mindlessly playing video games without the intention to, that you're going to get something. Like I was playing video games to play video games, and I realized I want to do this professionally. I wanted to, be like, making content and doing that with video games. But I wasn't doing it. I was taking really no steps to do that. And so that's where I got caught in that, well, I'll do it one day. And if you say that to yourself forever, then you're never going to accomplish anything. And I really needed to kickstart, or to get that mentality of, I'll do it one day off my plate, off of, what I was like I'll do it eventually, I'll do it. That was my thought process.
You'll do what eventually?
I'll start making content. I'll start turning this into an actual way of making money. It's one thing to be doing it and to check out, but it's also another way to.
What percentage of gamers do you think do it with the intention to do
the
something
idea
and
is
monetize
different.
it?
They think that it would be awesome to be a professional to do this professionally, but they don't understand how much time and hard work it takes. And so they don't really go full into it. And when you don't go full into it and you half-ask it, or you just like kind of keep it as an idea, that's the thing. I know I've met so many people playing games, and they like make a Twitch stream or something. They make like an account, and they post some videos to YouTube.
What's a Twitch dream?
Twitch stream is like a Twitch
stream. Oh.
Twitch stream is
stream.
Twitch stream, yeah,
Okay.
It's like online live videoing, platform.
Okay.
It's been around since I was probably 10 years old. It's probably longer, but that sense of it was like prevalent. Like you could become somebody that makes money doing this, and this could be your livelihood. Like this could be what you base
percentage do you of
so
gamers? So few.
So few actually are able to generate money from it. But there is professional scenes that make money, that you can make a nice, living doing, playing video games. It comes down to what is your intention, and if you're actually deceiving yourself and thinking that this could actually make something of it.
Hold it right there. We're talking about a developing brain getting a constant dopamine hit
Oh, of course.
from watching video games.
We're playing video games.
Playing video games, not watching. Playing video games, it looks to me like sometimes you're just watching, but
I
playing.
am.
I view it as a colossal waste of time. You're not engaged in life. You're not.
Well, it's
You're not
common
building
point.
relationships.
Yeah.
You're not. Oh, you're missing. But people don't know what they're not missing. Like you didn't know what you weren't missing. I'm not sure you still know what
knew
you
what
aren't
I was
missing.
when I was checking out playing video games in high school and freshman year, is I was missing being with my friends and having the life that I had.
But
I
wait,
knew I was
by
missing out on that.
gaming,
And the
what are
video
you
gaming,
missing?
I felt like I had nothing else going on. I wasn't interested in anything else, and the video gaming is what I was interested in.
But let's say you did not have video gaming. Do you think that you might have made an effort, or you might have been forced to become more engaged in life?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, because
so it's becomes a coping mechanism. It becomes something that
Yeah,
you
of
turn
course,
to.
yeah.
Very unhealthy.
easily.
And
But
then your
they're
brain is
also
developing.
on top of it. But say I was that 15-year-old kid and I'm generating $10,000 a month doing it. What are the parents going to say? You can't say much. There's tons of kids that have done that. That were, that are younger than me, that I saw that same ability, and you guys had no, like, where I was at was an interesting point, because people weren't really doing what they're doing now. It's like live streaming, making YouTube videos, engaging people through social media and YouTube to the degree where they can make a living doing this. And it was just becoming popular, and I saw that as something I was interested in, and it's something I wanted to do. I just didn't really have the formula. I didn't set myself up. There was people. I could have totally done it. I was doing a little bit of it. Like I made a YouTube channel. I was, we were making videos, but I wasn't like fully interested. It's the point if you're deceiving yourself. Do I really want to be playing a video game for the rest of your life? And that's all you do, and that's your entire life.
At
Some
14
people do.
or 15 years old,
It's hard to decide. You're not an adult.
you
Your
don't
brain
ha-
isn't
you
developed enough to be able to
really
decide.
should not be making that decision.
Yeah, but
But
some parents are working, to a point where
right.
that the kid is just going home after school and playing video games, and now they're playing in tournaments and they're making money. It's like, okay, they make money. This is what they do all day. But once you start doing it professionally, then the life comes around it. It comes to a point where you're making money. It's different. But if you're stuck in your in the house and you're 19, 20 years old, you're not making generating any money from it. It's like if you have to. There's a realistic. You guys were just ultra realistic. You're like, this is not realistic. There's no point in doing this because there's nothing you can gain from it.
Well, it was taking you out
That's
of
the
life.
idea,
It was
and it was
keeping
taking
you
away
up
from my
all
life.
night.
But some
Yes.
people could also argue, even though it was taken away from my life, that all that time and effort that I was spending at a young age, when my reflexes are as fast as they'll be, and my understanding is as quick as it will ever be, like those
Sounds
are
like to
all
me
things
a
that are
waste of
setting
your
me
brain,
up to be
waste of your
better.
mind.
To be better, which the better you are, the more money you're gonna
Why do you
make,
want
and
to
the more
get better
successful you
at
could be.
something like this?
Because it can provide a livelihood for you. This is
But
an
you just
argument.
said just a small percentage of people
Yeah, a
end
small
up.
percentage, and that's why it's worth it. That's why it can be worth it, because it can be very lucrative.
So if you had a 14-year-old and your 14-year-old was gaming and
If
making
I saw he
10,000 a
was really
month,
good at the game, like when I look at it, my kid, I'll play video games with him, but it'll be certain amount of hours that he can play. Like there'll be a lot of restrictions put on him based on the amount of grades that he has to have. It will be communicated completely what it will take for him to be able to play a certain amount of
so
games.
it sounds like
And
you're
if
going to
he's
use it
good,
for a
if he's
reward.
good, I will understand. Yeah, use it as a reward, and
Mm.
it's how you associate it as well. If you have a positive association with it, then they have and you also parallel that with another positive association, which is doing well in school and also being in a sport as well. So you have all these things on top of it. I didn't have that. I didn't have this. You have to be in a sport. You have to do well in school. Have these grades. My dad just had the Wi-Fi on. I was just playing video games all night. It's about how you go about it. It's
Oh,
about
I
your
hadn't thought
intention.
about that.
And I was talking to these guys that I met on my trip, and their parents were ultra like they were like, your phone doesn't have these privileges past 9 o'clock. The Wi-Fi cuts you off. Your data plan cuts you off. All these things. We take your phone, your video games. You don't even have the controllers. They were very on top of their kids. And I asked them. I said, "Do you think you're better off for it? Would you do it for your kids?" And they said, "Absolutely,
Really?
absolutely." And they went through it. Both of them went through it. Their parents didn't even really communicate that they were doing it. It's just how parents are realizing.
My thinking around video games is and playing video games is so black and white.
Yeah, but also it's very black and white. But now kids that are going to school with on the weekends, or they do an activity or something, but at night the kids aren't going to be hanging out. They're going on Discord and they're playing video games together. That's how and these are people they're going to school with. So it is
But
interactive.
you're not developing interpersonal skills.
You are developing. There is interpersonal skills, and it goes beyond just the personal skills. I'm not saying this is a good way to make up for the play basketball in the neighborhood, and go home when the lights the lights turn on, right? That was what it was in the 90s and the early 2000s. Now it's, yeah, I mean, there's still tons of kids that are out there doing, engaging sports, football, all this stuff. But yeah, on the weekends when they're chilling out, they're playing Fortnite with their friends from school, and you play with random people and you meet random people, and that's how it kind of goes.
So
It's
I
just
can think
what
of
it is.
I can think of several clients I have who game and play games late at night and don't get a good night's sleep, and the next day they say I'm going to go to bed early, but they get caught up in this cycle and not they don't feel great.
Yeah,
And so, but
that's
it's
happened.
a little bit like drinking. Like, oh, I had too many drinks. Okay, all right, I feel bad, but I won't do
Well,
it
it's the
again.
dopamine. You're hitting the dopamine in your brain,
Sure. So
and
I think it's really bad for you
you think it's
now. I think
destructive.
it's very deleterious.
You think it's destructive to yourself.
I think in my opinion,
It
for
depends on
you,
how you
I
frame
do
it.
not believe that it is a good idea. It
It
still
depends on how you
concerns
frame
me.
it.
It still bothers me to this day that you
Like a
game.
goal of mine is to own an esports organization down the road. So for me, I don't watch sports. I don't really have that much interest inside of outside the
Okay.
Packers. I do find watching video. There's a certain video game that I watch, and I find it very interesting. And
But
That's
I
and I
see
have a
you
team
get
there,
caught
and
up
there's
in it.
I have a team there, and I watch that team. I don't watch
But I
much
see
outside
you
of it.
get sucked into it.
But even if I'm playing a video game,
And then
I
you're time
understand.
drunk.
Yeah, it definitely. I agree with you, and I think there is a certain point where it becomes a waste, and a certain point where this is something
But how do you moderate something that your brain is addicted to?
moderate. What do you? It's you have to be you have to be an adult about it. Still have to pay the
When
bills.
some
You still have to go about life and
So
regulate yourself
you're
in
gonna
other ways.
video game when you have children? You have a wife and children?
It depends. It you know I the idea is that I mean
Oh, I can't wait to get them to bed so I can.
Elon Musk plays video games and he's the richest person in the world. There is no limit or bar of whether you can play video games or not. It's based on how much time you can spend doing something that may not contribute to yourself going forward, and that's okay. People do that with
And it
tons of things.
might, they
There are
do.
tons of people that go to the bar and watch football every
That's
weekend,
true. You make a
and
good point.
I don't think it's not something I like to do. It's not interesting to me, and I have absolutely no desire to do it.
Right.
So who's to say? But it's where it becomes destructive, where it becomes a point where you can't take control of it, and it gets out of control. When you're a kid, this is where we can really base the conversation. Is when you're a kid, it's hard to tell yourself no. A kid will generally, if they're getting the dopamine and from playing a video game, and they're having a lot of fun doing it, it's very hard for them to turn it off and say, "That's enough. I need to focus on my school." That's not going to happen.
I know I would agree
And that's
with you.
where the parent has to come in.
That's got to be hard.
Right?
For a kid.
That is, I mean, a kid. It's not even hard for the kid. They don't know any better.
Right. The kid,
There's positive. The positive reinforcement is there. Oh, I do this. This makes me feel good. I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do this every day. It's a cycle, and you get caught in that cycle, and that's why what happened with me going to the wilderness, it kicked me out of that cycle. And it was like, I love being outdoors. I love this, and this became who I was. Who I am is somebody that wants to be grounded in nature and appreciative of relationships and the simplicities of life. And that's what I got away from by using video games to cope with not being around my friends, all these things. I was coping with the only thing that brought me any joy, and
you were using the only thing that brought you any joy to cope.
I was using as well said. I was using the only thing that brought me joy to cope.
Let's talk a little bit more about parents dealing with other substance abuse or behavioral addictions.
I mean, substance abuse is a tricky line. It's a very tricky line. I can't. I mean, I can speak to what I think that it's tough. I mean, your kid's going to end up doing something. They're either going to be focused and really good at in their academics, or they're going to pursue in the arts, or they're going to do
when
something.
When you say doing something, do you mean doing something that could turn into an addiction?
Your kid in high school, in the formative years of high school, right, will figure out something that will lead them down the path the rest of their life. And for me, the seed was planted in my head in that summer between freshman and sophomore year of I can get whatever issue is going on for me. I have the power to change it. I have the power to get out of it. And it takes time, but consistency and the effort. And
are you talking about video game again?
No. Being determined will always get me out of whatever issue I have.
Okay, so that linked into your mindset.
I have the ability to get myself in a better state, and I want more for myself. And
so
even
you linked that in between freshman and sophomore year.
The going to the wilderness gave me that fresh outlook of, because when I went home after that period of time, I just wanted to hang out with and meet people and have fun. And sure, I picked up bad habits of starting to smoke marijuana and like some drinking, but it was all social activities. It started off as very social stuff. This is fun, and then I started using marijuana to cope. And so I knew, I've known in the back of my mind when something is destructive, because I recognized that video games were leading me down a path that was not necessarily what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, but in that summer. Mm-hmm. Because I gave up on it. I had a dream to be professional, and I just gave up on it. It was like, this is not in front of me anymore. What else do I want to do? Now I want to make friends and enjoy high school and have a fun time and enjoy my life. And that's what I did. And but then I, started using weed to cope with all these other issues in my life. But I still had in the back of my mind, oh, I can get out of this. Like the seed that is planted in your mind at
So you
whatever
believed
point.
you could get out of this. Do you think that then you justified doing it because, oh, I can get out of this at any time?
Yes, absolutely. Well said. That's a very important point. And that's maybe why, that's actually really interesting you say that, because when you look at a lot of, not a lot of, I don't know the statistic, but there's a lot of very high functioning, very intelligent people out there that have found themselves deep into drug use and on the streets and in very bad situations where they had everything going for them. And
This is
that may
true.
be speaking to that. Your point may be speaking to that. I really do think that when you know that you're capable of doing something that is destructive to yourself and knowing that you can get yourself out of it, that makes the threshold for switching that light bulb, it's not as it becomes, it's something that's right in front of you. Like for me, when I wanted to quit nicotine, it was like right in front of me for a very long time. Like I can quit anytime. But then, you're tricking yourself. And then it's like I try to quit. I'm like, oh, this is very hard. I really want to use nicotine. But I think when it's based on how far away that light switch has to flick. And some people, that light switch goes too far because they think it will always be there. And I've seen my friends who just, they're incredibly smart people, but they just, they don't recognize it in that way. Like it's gone so far away from them. It really has. It's you push it away. Do I make myself clear?
You do. I can think of a client I had years ago who he was in his early 20s and he used to say, "Oh, I'll deal with what the
I'll deal
weight
with this
problem.
later. Yeah.
I'm only in 20 whatever. I'll deal with it when I'm 30." And yeah, that was
I'll deal with it when I'm 30.
kicking
That's
it down the
good.
road.
Right. I'll
Yeah,
kick
I'll
it down
deal
the
with it
road.
later. I
Right.
want it, need it, have to have it now. That's
And
that's the urge. That's the mind.
and
Urges in the mind,
it's
desires.
tough with something like food, like with what you deal with, because it's part of your everyday life. You have to
You
eat.
have to eat. Yeah.
And so it makes what you do very, what you do is ingrained in society and culture. It's ingrained into our daily lives, and it
That's
makes it
true.
very difficult for people to gain the understanding of what it takes to be able to kind of break down what it is that goes into them to eat, that what into how they approach eating and their mindset and understanding of eating. And it's a very different thing than video games. And I think a
Food's
lot
very
of your
different than
approach,
drugs,
I think
alcohol.
I think your approach though to video games is how you approach maybe things like cigarettes, not as food. Where I would say video games to me is more like,
Yeah, okay, there's nothing positive about a cigarette.
there's nothing
Nothing.
about yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. The video games, there are positives, and for
I
people
guess
it's
I
a
hadn't
way of
looked at it
life.
like
There
that.
are there are positives. It's good for my brain if I play a video game. It's good for my brain to focus on one thing based on my ADHD. My ADHD, when I was sitting in class for the past last semester, or like what, last year, and I'm sitting in class, I'm like, I cannot focus. I remember just being like completely conscious of it, and I'm like sitting there, I just can't focus. The whole time I'm just thinking about random
Do you
stuff.
think there's a chance, though, that video gaming impacted your ability to focus?
No, I don't think it hurt my ability. I think that it took away my focus because I was only focused on thinking about video games. But that even shows that when how ADHD was utilized, thousands of years ago, was somebody that had ADHD, or had the
So
neuro the all.
differentiate ADD and
I
ADHD.
don't I mean ADHD and ADD, I associate them as the same thing.
Okay.
Attention deficit disorder. I
All
mean,
right.
it's what, attention deficit hyper what is it, I don't know what
Hyperactivity.
hyperactivity disorder. I don't know. I think ADD was the old definition, old
I think
terminology
so.
for ADHD, and now it's really ADHD. So I've never understood. I mean, I think ADHD is what I use them synonymously. But ADHD was something that people could tune into, and it would make them ultra good at something. Ultra good at something. And especially when you're young, it's very difficult to when you're sitting in a classroom and you're antsy and you're not, your brain isn't being engaged physically. It's only being engaged, like I can see and I can speak and I'm engaged this way, but I'm not really physically engaged in things. I remember like the most engaged I would ever be in school was either in gym or doing a science lab, because at least I'm moving things around and my mind is activated. And when you're sitting there as a kid, and you're sitting there on the mat with all the the different like letters or whatever in your kindergarten, it's like you just can't focus. I remember not being able to focus so much in my life, but the first time I could really start focusing when I play video games. I could really focus. When I go skiing, I can really focus. Right? So it's these ways of connecting your brain that I can focus. I can focus. And that's what video games can do. It can say you can finally say I can focus on something. A lot of people don't have that have ADHD until they have, a medication, and then they can start focusing and they're like, I can focus, but now I'm dependent on a drug.
Let's go back and talk a little bit about what you would advise parents to do if they have a child who's struggling.
With what?
A substance, a behavioral addiction.
Your kid is going through something difficult and they are using whatever it is to check out. And the quicker that you can understand that what they're using to check out as a coping mechanism, and purely a coping mechanism, and that there is a part deep down in them that probably to some degree wants to feel some sort of love that they are
missing.
I feel like there's a better word than missing, that they feel like maybe they
longing for, they deserve,
that they feel like that they deserve
hole.
And are no longer receiving. And there's some sort of, they're neglecting to feel that way. They're pushing out those feelings. They're masking
maybe they
those
never
feelings,
got that love in the way
maybe they never got that love. But you have to, when you want to cope and when you want to check out, it's because you feel different than the way you felt in the past.
Because it allows you to feel different.
Exactly. And it goes back.
People who drink say that that become heavy drinkers or alcoholics say that the first time they drank, they actually felt normal. They felt good.
Right. And that's, it comes down to, oh, well, how can I help my kid? Well, you can take him to therapy. And most kids, I mean, let's be frankly honest. Most kids don't want to go to therapy. They don't want to feel like there's something wrong with them. They don't want to feel like there's something wrong with them. Taking that leap of maturity to say, there is something wrong with me. It's not that it's not something wrong with me. There's something I want to learn and explore about myself. That's how the therapy should be presented. Not, there's something wrong with you. This person's going to help you fix it. It's like, hey, let's explore your emotions and the things that you're dealing with, because life can be tough and your kid doesn't have the capabilities to be able to communicate what the issues that they're experiencing.
That's true. They don't have the ability to communicate. Well, and a lot of parents
and they don't have the tools.
Listen, and they didn't learn that from parents. So parents don't have that either.
Exactly. It's very simple. But it's very difficult. I mean, I can't imagine doing it. I mean, I'm going to do my best. I mean, that's what comes down to parenting. I guarantee most parents are trying to do their best. And my dad's trying to do their best. And that's why you look out to third party, or you looked out to help from other people. And not all help can be good. Some help can be bad. Some help can be destructive, because and that's where some people that I know that have had therapists, they won't ever have another therapist again because they had a bad therapist. Right? And
I've had people come to me and be a little reluctant
to have therapy. Exactly.
Yeah, because what I do is different than traditional therapy. But
so if I, going further than what I was saying, listen to the kid, encourage the kid to have a safe space where they can talk to you. Because when you start to open up and not just be a parent, but be someone that they can turn to deal with, to talk about things, then they will change whatever thing they're turning to from a thing that they're turning to cope to a thing that it becomes, hey, I'll just do that because of the first intention when they did something, because they were interested in it. and
So
it's
you're
something that they
saying
enjoy.
be a parent who listens so that whether it's a young adult or a child will begin to then open up and share and realize, create a safe
Right.
place.
Create a safe place, and it's very important. It's not even very important. It's essential to help a kid that is in the stage of 12 and throughout their teens,
I would say
and
that
even younger. But the
I would
teenage
say
years
I would
are,
tell parents to first get some help for themselves. If they can't get through
if they can't get through, it's help for yourselves.
to their
And
child, get
what
some
I'm
help
talking about is
for
something that I have with my
themselves.
dad, and it's like you try to take the right steps, but you try too hard. Parents can try too hard too. I mean, you write out, if a parent sits down and writes out everything they want for their kid, you write that down on a piece of paper, and you write down what your kid's actually doing, you can start to see pretty clearly that they might not be going in a direction that you want for them. And you need to go back to reality and say, well, hey, how can we start working together to get them down at least a path that I think is positive for them, right?
So how can we get them down a path that's positive?
Even playing video games could be positive if it's doing good things for them and they're using it in a way that isn't just coping.
I think there's a fine line.
It's a very fine line, and when it comes down, when you do something with a different intention as wanting to help somebody versus it's right, the communication that you're communicating yourself clearly, that you're adjusting your mindset in the way you want the other person to receive the information that you're trying to impart on them, right? So if I'm talking to my kid, my metaphorical kid, and they're like, they don't understand, and I'm saying you got to do this, do this, do this, and they're not really responding to me. There's a reason they're not responding, because they don't even feel like that we're playing the same game, right? They feel like they're kind of on their own, and being a kid and feeling like you're on your own sucks. I felt like that most of my entire childhood. Not most of my childhood. Let me take that back. I felt like I was on my own the moment I started living with my dad. It's
That
tough.
must have been hard.
It's tough. And when you feel like you're on your own,
I think there are
what do you
some
do? You don't have the
there's
tools.
some
You don't even know
children
what to do.
there's some children who feel like they're on their own from a young age for whatever reason. Their parents are
And
not emotionally available.
what
They
do
can't
people
be. They
what do
haven't
people
learned.
that feel like they're on their own, what do they need? Tell me.
They need connection and love and
They
to
need
be
a friend.
understood. Yeah, they need a friend.
And a parent can be a friend. Something that I work on to this day is trying to develop a friendship with my father. And it's not easy, but finding a way that you can connect,
You do work on that.
finding a way and appreciating that connection for what it is, and really appreciating it, really trying to tell yourself, this is important. I want to be in the moment right now. I want to fully experience and feel all the positives that come from this.
I know how important he is
And
to
then
you.
also, something I heard the other day, and I think this is great. When you're having a great time with somebody, you say, "Hey, man, this was a great time. Let's do this again." That's what I say to my dad. That was a great game of golf. I can't wait to play again with you. And I try to do that. I mean, I'm not. It's true. Like, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed going skiing with you. And when somebody associates a positive statement with something, then both people are like, you know what, that was a good time. I want to do that again. It's true.
So you're saying
You
for a
you can be a
parent and
parent and have a relationship with your kid that isn't just a strict parent telling them what to do. You can also be somewhat of a friend and be somebody. It's tough. It's a line. It's a line that you like. And I've seen many parents who were way too much of a friend because they weren't a parent at all.
sure.
And parents that act like a friend and then become a parent once once something else is going on. Like once it's like,
They
then they
put
have to.
their parent
Exactly.
hat on.
Right. And I've seen and it's indifferent being an only child too for me. I mean, I had more attention towards me, But even I mean, I have friends who have, many siblings, and it's like you gotta have a friend, you gotta have a friendly interactions with your kids, with the people that are around you. You know, especially, I mean, I feel like I'm looking at a lot from the lens of how my dad was trying his best to raise me, and it's so I don't want to speak for everyone, but I really do think understanding there's a line, and understanding when to be on, when sometimes you have to put yourself on the other side and be a friend, and be someone that somebody can turn to. Because I would argue that a lot of kids that get sent to therapy, they're probably thinking somewhere in their subconscious, there's some part of their subconscious like, why can't I just talk with my parents? And that's kind of heartbreaking to say, because you look to your parents to be everything, your parents, whatever, to be that person. You want them to be that person. You do. You want to be, because that's all you know.
Right.
That's all you know is your parents. And sure, there's things that go beyond that.
I would say for parents, patience.
Patience. I can't imagine I don't know how you guys did it with me. I mean, to get even where I am today, like, it's taken a lot of patience for you.
It
Even
has
for
taken
me, like, in my
patience.
subconscious mind, I knew that I wanted to be in a state where I felt like I was in control of my life, and living healthily, right? And I can't imagine, you're sitting here and it's like, Jesus, it's been a long 10 years. More than that, 10, 12 years of me kind of being out of control, for not in the past couple of years as much. But there was a good 8 years there, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So yeah, I appreciate you being patient.
Patience, and I guess I wouldn't say strength, but l- letting your child know that you believe in him or her.
But are you
Letting
are you
them
telling
know,
them that you believe in them as a friend or as a parent?
believe in them as a person, believe in them.
No, but are you doing it from what side of the what side of the, I don't know what we should call this.
I
The
think it could be either.
I think you have to do it from both.
I think it could be
Because I
either.
think in some ways,
Well, I really do believe in you.
I when I look at with my father, it's like I know when he's telling me from the I really believe in you from the parent side, and then from the friend side. It sounds different, and I
What
can
about
feel like
me?
it's different. I mean, you've always just been my friend. You're not been the best parent. So I know I can trust you.
Okay. So I
I mean,
haven't
you
been.
were you were a parent, but like, I don't know how to explain it. We guess another episode. You just always made life so much fun. So
Well, I
not
tried.
not a lot of dull moments
I
with
I
you.
I tried.
Not a lot of dull moments.
Well,
I
you didn't
think
respond
I
well to my parenting.
I did not. I didn't respond well to you know.
You were so out of control so many
By the
times.
time I realized I could take advantage of you, it was too late. You screwed up.
Oh,
I could take advantage of your niceness and the fact that you were the one that was in full control of me, and
oh.
I could kind of just get away with it. Everything I did, I could get away with you. You never really made me feel. There was never a time where you like criticized me or parented me so hard that I was like, I mean, I think you spanked me, but it's like, oh, that's my friend hitting me. Like, that's not my
I didn't
mean
really
mom who,
spank you very often.
not very often, but I remember you did. I mean, looking back, it's like that wasn't my parent. That was my mom friend who is because I did something bad, and I relate more to something that I did bad than my parent being strict, which is interesting.
That I guess I did have an interesting parenting style.
Yeah,
So for parents,
non-existent. Interesting parent style.
ouch.
I critique your parenting. You agree. You should have been a harder parent. I think the mother in that situation, I don't think you understood.
I did not have parents that were tough on me. I did not know how to be a tough parent. I had a fun dad and a sweet mom. And my father could be a little tough sometimes, but he never told me no. Not that I never told you no.
Yeah, but you do it nicely.
Well,
I think there's a point where you have to teach the kid no, and so they listen to it the first no, and however you have to do that, I don't know. But you gotta teach a kid no as young as you can.
I can
I
remember you
from what
pushing
I've
me
seen,
beyond my limits.
I've seen with like I'll be around like people like my cousin's age and their kids, and they're not telling them no. It's like, oh my god, not telling your kid no, it's really bad. I mean, you can see that.
I can see
You
that.
gotta tell your kid no.
You
And I
have
remember
to.
my teachers being like, nobody, your dad doesn't tell you no. And I'm like, that's all he knows. That's like his number one word is no. No?
No,
Am I wrong?
until he moves to yes. Yeah, it takes about 2 or 3 no's and then he moves
More
to
than two or
yes.
three. 2 or 3 times, whatever you think it is.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I should have said to her, I said, my mom had no idea to tell me no. I
Well,
remember my teacher saying that to me, and I'm just thinking to myself, and I'm like,
your
I
teacher
remember like,
said,
yeah, like your dad's got to learn how to tell you no. And I was like, what do you mean by that? That's not. He doesn't say yes all that time, all that much.
so for parents who, but I mean, there are parents who are struggling with adults.
Yeah,
That's
they're child.
that's
Yeah, kid. Yeah, kid
that is
adults.
so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when. I mean, I saw this one guy, and he was going to treatment. I think he was 20. And I was but in the summer between college years, and yeah, I remember seeing him. And it's like he just got out of rehab and he's using drugs again, and it's like, oh my god, his parents are sweet and just, and I mean, he lost his father when he was young, and it's like you kind of don't want to be like, think in your mind, well, oh, he's using drugs because he lost his dad, but I'm sure it's part of it.
I think that could be
And
scarring for
when you have a kid and
anyone.
they lose a parent or something, I think you have to be, ultra sensitive towards how you, go about it.
I would agree. So we've covered things that parents can do: be patient, work together, listen, try to have a conversation, make it feel like a safe space for your child to open up.
A safe space, creating a safe space, and it's tough when life goes by so fast, like day by day. It's like it's crazy,
Life does go by
but you have
fast.
to taking just 10 minutes out of the day to say, how are you, especially to a friend too, when you talk to them, like how are you really doing. Like I remember my cousin did that. Um, and I like that approach. My cousin did that to me when I talked to him a couple months ago.
Which cousin?
Uh, that's not important.
Okay.
And he said, I mean, I guess it's Graham. It doesn't, yeah. And it was very. I really enjoyed what he said. And he said, oh, how was your trip? Everything, da da da. And he said, well, your mind. How's your mind doing? With all that kind of stuff. Are you doing all right? And
Oh,
I'm just like the fact that he took that extra effort to ask that. I don't know. It meant the world to me to hear that, because it's, and I'm trying to implement that more when I talk to my friends.
I like that.
How are you doing mentally? How are you doing? Because you're giving them a stage to, perform, not perform, but to you're setting a stage for them to be able to, if they have something to talk about, they'll
To
talk about
open
it with
up.
you. Yeah, and communicating like that is important. And I think doing that with people you care about is important.
I think that's very important.
I think you notice it too. Like if you're trying to get meet new people, and if you can open up, and sometimes your own vulnerabilities will help too. Being vulnerable
Sure.
with people, helping people, like not like trying to manipulate them or anything, but like you people put your guard down with you when you're being real.
Yeah, I open up about my personal struggles with clients and
Right, right. That's a great point.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure that's really nice for them to hear because they feel like you know exactly what they've been going through. Because it's one thing
I
to
do.
sympathize versus empathize.
I will say my parents were they they really didn't know what to do to help me when I had out of control eating and repetitive dieting going on. They tried, they wanted to, they didn't know what to do. My mother did go to a therapist to try to get some help. They really didn't know what to do,
What
but
was
they
that therapy
tried.
like?
Therapy for my mother.
The one that you're the Mimi got you, the therapist. What was that therapy like to give you help?
Oh, so she got therapy for herself, a little bit of
Oh, for
therapy.
herself.
She went a couple of times.
Okay.
And she went to a support group for a couple of times, but she found that she was
Not.
trying to help the people in the support group, and it was a lot on her, and she wasn't using it for her own support.
She was just to help other people.
Yes, she sent me to a therapist that really wasn't addressing the real issues.
What
And
do
I see that too. I see when parents come to me and they've had their child in therapy, but it hasn't been therapy that's dealt with the underlying issues of out of control eating or repetitive dieting. It hasn't been effective because it hasn't really gotten at the deep rooted issues. Maybe it's
what
great talk therapy, and I'm sure some of it's helpful, but I hear that a lot.
I'm curious. Maybe we should talk about this more with your short form content. But what was something that was going on with that therapist that you just feel like they weren't connecting with you? And what was the problem?
It was so
Did they
long
just
ago.
yeah?
I felt I did not feel like that therapist was going to understand me. And I felt like I guess it was a little bit intimidating.
I think your first experience with therapy is always going to feel like it's not like you've done this before. You don't really
Right.
know, and it's not easy to take that first step. It's not easy to put yourself in the spot where you can just talk to somebody. 'Cause there's always that thing of like, I mean, this is something that there's tons of high school kids that say this. I've heard it many times. I'm not going to pay somebody just to hear my problems. Like I don't want to. It doesn't care about what I have to say. Like because you're just paying them, right? That's what I would say. I've said this. I don't know why I'm saying other people. I've heard this and I said this. I'm not going to pay somebody who doesn't even care about really care about. That's the best part of therapy is you can pay somebody. They'll listen to you and give you completely
Objective.
objective, yeah, information and feedback and help you, and they will not be another part of your life. That will not have any
And they won't be
ramifications.
judgmental.
Won't be judgmental, but it will have zero ramifications for anything else going on in your life. It's completely separate. That's why you're paying for them, because you can go and you can work on yourself in an isolated area, whereas you can return to life and then live your life, and you don't have to. I
And
mean,
there's something separate.
it's something separate.
Mhm.
That's why it's valuable.
I would agree.
It's valuable to have that space.
It is. Therapy's invaluable. Well, this has been great. Thanks for
I
opening up
think yeah, I
about.
think we cut it there because yeah, I think this was a good episode. I don't even remember exactly we're going to talk about, but I
Well,
think
we were talking about what it's like for parents when they have a child who's dealing with an addiction and knowing what to do and how to handle it and things that they can do.
and how to be a and sometimes you got to just be a friend. Sometimes you just got to create a safe space for somebody. Doesn't matter who it is, but remember, I mean, your kids are turning towards, they're turning towards you because they trust you. If they can't trust you, then who are they gonna trust? And it's hard to trust a then therapist because you already don't trust your parents. So let's end it on that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
for
for
episode
joining
8
us.
of Family Business. I'm Dylan Stieber.
I'm Dr. Mary Wansley.
Take care. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.